Hello and welcome here in the VICTAM newsroom. My name is Gerrit Heikoop and I'm here trying to find out what's hot, what's new and what's important in the animal feed processing industry. And in this episode we're zooming in on pet food production because I'm joined by Aure de Ratuld, who is one of the speakers at VICTAM Asia here today. Aure, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, you did a talk this morning that was titled Creating Value with Alternative Protein Sourcing, while, and that's very important, ensuring palatable pet foods. Now, for our viewers who are not as deep in the industry, why is palatability so important when we consider pet foods?
So as humans, cats and dogs, they have some preferences. They can taste different things and they can in olfaction, so also sniff different things and prefer then some foods. So if the food is good and pleasant to them, so then it will be the good way that they eat the food and that they are fed properly. So this is our mission, to find out what is pleasant to them.
And how far are we in understanding this? Because I can imagine it's quite difficult to research this, right? How does that work?
The main difficulty is that cats and dogs do not speak.
Exactly.
So we
cannot ask them.
Yes, we can ask them, but studying the behavior, for example. So we have a platform in the company that is dedicated to sensory measurement, and we have plenty of animals, so more than 800 cats and 300 dogs, every day running some preference tests and telling us what they prefer. And this is how we decide what is pleasant to them or not.
Exactly. Now, you started your talk this morning with a few challenges facing the pet food industry. What are the key challenges that manufacturers need to deal with?
So this is a key point in the future. So we are in a growing planet, as you may know. By 2050, we'll be more than 9 billion of humans, and 1/3 of millennials now own a pet. That means that also the population of pets will increase, and the growth rate of cats and dogs is still more important than the one of humans. That means that at the end, we will have to feed everybody and everywhere in the world. So the big hurdle in that is sharing the value and the proteins,
yes,
but also being able to produce everywhere in the world on very different locations with some issues that could be the barriers at the customs, sanitary crisis, etc. So we have to deal with that. And then plant proteins, for example, could be an interesting alternative to the current offer of palatants based on livestock byproduct.
Yeah, so basically we might try to turn our cats and dogs into vegetarians. Now, what have you found? What happens if you try to do that?
It's not what I'm telling. In fact, the diets will probably always have some proteins and meat or animal proteins for cats and dogs. What we do and what we sell are palatants that are dusted or coated onto the kibbles. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we deliver is not nutrition, but it's sensory. So raw materials today, so like meaty raw materials, they are transformed into palatable molecules.
Yeah.
So the volatile compounds that would activate your olfactory buds and receptors, and the soluble compounds and molecules that will activate your taste buds. And in this area, then, we are not speaking about nutrition, but sensory. And that means that at the end, we are able to transform maybe not any kind, but more different raw material than only animal-based
because
material.
It tastes good on the outside, so it matters less what's in the inside. Do I understand you correctly?
In fact, we have to trigger their sensory.
Yeah.
So to do that, we have to attract the animal, and our goal is that the pet food is eaten. So we have to attract them olfactively, and also not only olfactively, they have to stay on the diet and have very pleasant taste and molecules to be tasted, I mean.
And can you give us an example of some of the surprising results of your research of things that cats or dogs, or you're specialized in the cat platform. So what is typically things that cat like that you didn't expect?
So far we were telling that we were not able to do palatability with non-meat proteins.
Yeah.
because cats are strict carnivores and they might be interested only with what is arising from animal proteins.
Yeah.
So what we did, we studied very deeply the raw material, animal raw materials, how they were transformed and what was palatable in those kind of palatants. And then once we had the targets, we could reproduce that from other kinds of materials,
Yeah.
like the plants.
Yeah.
And what was surprising to us was that we succeeded applying the proper processes, and that some cats even were preferring the veggie palatants
Yeah.
compared to the meaty ones. So this was a surprising result. So 12% of our cats were saying to us that yes, they were preferring those kind of palatants.
It's even getting better. So we might get into a world where we create total different and new tastes for our pets.
Maybe not completely new taste, because we still have the same targeted molecules that will be tasty. It's just the way they are obtained, the way the raw material are transformed. But at the end, we can have similar peptides or
Exactly.
proteins or free amino acids that would activate their buds.
Yeah, just to make that clear, because it only sinks in with me now, you're working on a molecular level, right?
Exactly.
This is not on the pellets that they eat, but it's on the molecular level. That's where you're engineering.
Exactly.
All right, clear. Now, moving forward, what do you hope your audience this morning in your talk will do when they come home with your insights?
In fact, they will keep in mind that if we are able to deliver our customers, so the pet food manufacturers, with plant-based palatants, then they will have more flexibility in formulation. They will be able to import any kind of palatant from any country without the sanitary crisis bans, for example. Or they can also sustain more easily their claims. As you may know, in pet food, there are a lot of claims on exotic proteins or animal proteins, kangaroo, possum, or whatever.
Yeah.
So this can be very difficult for us to also copy-paste those kind of animal proteins. If you put vegetable proteins on it, so palatants, then it's it's quite neutral, and they might be able to put that on any kind of diets at the end.
All right, very, very practical and very exciting. Sounds like you're engineering the cat food and the pet food of the future here at Diana Food. So thank you very
Yes.
much for sharing that with us, Aure. And if
Thank
you're
you.
interested to learn more about the latest innovations in pet food, make sure you check out some of our other VICTAM Newsroom videos about the Pet Food Forum Asia. And if you, in general, are curious about what's happening in the international pet food industry, check out the VICTAM newsletter. Sign up at victam.com, or make sure you meet us at VICTAM International in Cologne in 2019, or back here in Bangkok for VICTAM Asia 2020. Thank you for watching.